So, hi, my dear brothers and sisters. Today I have a very special guest. He's the legend, the one and only Yogi Zen, the master yogi who lives in the caves, and he's a Breatharianism. He introduced me into many different aspects of yoga. I remember the first time I learned about him I was looking for the elixir of immortality, and I found the video he was featured on National Geographic, and then that inspired me to make some big changes in my life. And I, you know, value his presence, his knowledge. He's basically a legend to me, and he's a wonderful man. Yogi Zen, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Greetings, Earth family. I'm I'm thrilled to connect to sharing information because that's what will open our minds and out of the ignorance that we've been trained on the hamster wheel of life. So thank you.
Yes, and Yogi Zen I'll show you some of his pictures from the beginning. He did some acrobatic yoga. He lived in caves. He lived in Maui. He created his coconut cabana. And I have some images that I would like to kind of introduce you to if you don't know about him. He's an amazing guy. So I'm going to share my screen and share some of these photos, which are very beautiful. These are some of the photos that I got from his Facebook, and I'll bring his contact information. So this is basically his Facebook contact, which is facebook.com Zen Yogi Master.
Yeah.
And this is his phone number in case he has some retreats and some one-on-one training that he does for people for breathing and so forth that he's going to talk more about. And these are his two YouTube channels. One is the older version, which he recently could not get access to it, but he made another one, which is the second one here. So if you search for these channels, you can find it. So this is Yogi Zen when he was in Hawaii, and he had his own Coco Zen, uh, bar, which was very inspiring. I always used to watch his videos, and it's so inspiring to see somebody living in nature and feeding himself from these beautiful coconuts, which are, the direct connection to the brain, because it's the closest resemblance of the chemicals that are in the brain. So it was, and I got into coconut, eating habit as well. This is a,
What's interesting is when you open a coconut, the interior looks like the size of a brain and the shape. It's not perfectly round. It's more like oblong, like our brain. So you could if you had a brain, you could stick your brain right in the recess of the shape of the coconut. So I think it's very directly related to us. Yeah.
yes, beautiful. This is one of the sacred caves. I think this one is near San Diego. It's called Jewel Caves, and he lived in these caves for a long time, practicing his deep meditation, these samadhis, where he connected to his soul. He was doing breath exercises, breatharianism, and he was off food for a long time, just using his practice of urine therapy, and also um, through breath. He basically, as you can see, like his ribs and everything, he can go all the way back to the, he can connect the two part of the skin together, which takes years and years of practice. I think it's going to take me maybe 5 to 10 years to be able to do this. So it's amazing to see him in these caves, and we're going to talk about more of the caves, because he has a mission to create these retreat centers in the caves. And this is another beautiful image, being in the sun and being in this it's just connecting to Mother Earth, because our life comes from this planet, the mother. This is in his earlier years, when he was doing the acrobatic air yoga, which was the air yoga to um, release the flow and creating the flow of the blood flow in the body. And basically it's good for body postures and for making the body balance in many different ways. And as you can see, is one of the earlier of his pictures, in which I think it was from some time ago, and part of the acrobatic yoga pictures. And this is another picture from his cave again, which he has different musical instruments, the place to sit on and do the meditation. He has his own sitar. Do you still have this sitar, Yogi Zen?
I left it in Hawaii, but I've redesigned what's called a dulcimer. Have you heard of what a dulcimer is?
I haven't yet. No.
I'll play it this evening just to show people. I redesigned it to make it sound like the drone of the sitar.
Beautiful, beautiful. And these are this is one of the also extensions of the caves in Jewel Valley, and this is a very beautiful cave structure and rock structures. And the Yogi Zen, is this in the Jewel Cave also, your picture here?
Yes, it is. That's in Jewel Valley. And what's funny is the name Jewel Valley and the amount of caves that are in this one location. I know that high yogis were doing practices there because it's just so conducive, it's so quiet, and it's at almost 4,000 feet.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, this is a very beautiful shape, and you can sit there and meditate. And this is another image of him meditating in the caves. Another beautiful image, which is like, I think it's Kriya Yoga, and you see above his head there's a halo energy, kind of a violet flame I see above your head over there. If I zoom a bit, you can see there, right here, there's a halo. And this is looking from top of these caves to the bottom of the, where the trees are and everything. It's just breathtaking. And these are some of the Kriya Yoga postures. And I can imagine when you're up there, Yogi Zen, it's just being away from all these EMF junk and energy interferences. You must feel really open and really connected to the earth. Is that right?
I will have to tell you that it's so powerful and clear and amazing that I don't even know where words can't describe your feeling of liberation. I feel like I'm in the Shambhala or the next world. Literally, I feel like I'm in the next world because it's celestial. Yes.
Amazing. And this is the same rock that we went through that picture.
That's skull rock. That's skull rock. It's the shape of a skull. There's two eyes. You can see the nose.
Oh wow.
I'm sitting in the right eye. The left eye is to my left, and you see the nose right there. That's skull rock. I discovered that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Exactly. This is the nose. This is the right eye. He's sitting in the left eye. Wow.
What's crazy is this whole area feels like the inside of a human body or the bones of a body. At the top of the mountain, there is a cave that you enter the cave. There's two entrances side by side, and then they meet in the middle, and it's like the beginning of your nose, and you go walk into the inner cavity of your brain, of the brain of this mountain, and the shape of the mountain looks like a face lying on its back, like you're looking at the stars. It's really an incredible mountain and cave system.
Wow. And this is him in Hawaii, I believe. He spent some time in Hawaii and more Kriya Yoga. This is your acrobatic
Yes.
air yoga. That's what they call it. It's really good for balancing the mind, body, and spirit when you do the air yoga. And this is the flexibility that Yogi Zen has. It's amazing. He can do all these postures beautifully, which is amazing. What is the name of this posture? Do you know? Or
I think that's like, well, I would call it something like flying Garuda. So look, my legs look like wings, and my hands are like the four paws, the talons of the bird. So I'd call that Garuda.
yes, Garuda. That's from Tibetan. They had Garudas in many different cultures in India.
I'll tell you, I never properly studied any yoga or yoga postures, the names of them, because here's what I discovered. You don't want to be thinking about the name of the posture and how to do it correctly, because then the mind's involved about the perfection of it, and you never get to perfection of it. The perfection in yoga, to me, is a feeling. It's not a shape or a design or a perception. It's literally a feeling. Does that make sense?
Yes. Makes a lot of
So
sense.
I never properly, did the follow the yogic Western path. This is me in Hawaii throwing a coconut.
Beautiful. And this is doing some more yoga practices on the beach and near the ocean, which is a beautiful image. I really love this image. And this is the group of people who would come into this Coco Zen in Maui. And I was planning to visit there, but I never had a chance. So I think my destiny is to come visit you in the caves. So I
Right.
feel next year I'll be coming down to San Diego to visit the caves, definitely. And this is a lion, basically the energy of lion, and also the sacred plant, the cannabis, which is legalized in many parts of the world. In October, it got legalized in full Canada. The whole Canada is now legalized it completely federally and everything. So it's a sacred plant, and the lion symbol. I love this image.
Yeah, I do. My friend painted that. I was there with him. So that's the Lion of Zion, and the flowers around it, which are the cannabis. And I'm holding the world. I really feel like if the world would hear what I have to say at least one time, we could change the direction that we're going.
Yes, yes, beautiful. And this is kind of reminds me of Lord Shiva's posture because I saw this Lord Shiva statue and he was sitting on the river and there was a cobra that came from the back of his head. So when I look at this image, it represents to me Lord Shiva sitting and meditating, and there's a cobra coming out from the back of his head. When you took this picture, did you have Lord Shiva in mind?
No, I didn't. And that's a special place on the Big Island where these ponds naturally are warm. And I'm actually sitting, I mean, the water, if you look at my reflection in the water, it's perfect as if I'm floating. Yes.
Yes, beautiful image. And we go back to the same one. So I'll stop the sharing on there. We go back to Yogi Zen. So yeah, you said that you wanted to create these retreat centers in the cave, and there is a land right behind the cave. And I have a video that I can play, but I would like you to kind of give a bit more information about, what is your grand plan, because I believe everything is possible in the universe. Once you bring certain people and we connect the dots, every dream that you have can manifest, and it's just a matter of connecting.
Right. Well, I moved there to go on retreat. I moved there to just find out what inner silence is. And I discovered that if you go into a cave, you can get enlightened in the cave. Just don't bring your mind in there. Don't bring any distractions. Don't bring any food. Because as soon as you thought, oh, I'm hungry, then the food is right there. That means you brought your distraction to the cave. So the cave literally was like a womb and a tomb. It was a place to die and be reborn.
Yes. And in your greater vision, you see that you'll be how many people these caves can host, like how many, if you want to like create a center where people can come in at any time, uh, considering that you have been there and seen the number of caves and everything, how many people can come in and meditate in those caves?
Right, right. Well, there's different sized caves. There's one cave that you could probably comfortably sit about 80 people, 50 to 80 people comfortably, depending on how they sat. And then there's ones that are smaller for like personal retreats. And I found over 30 caves that I can say, this cave I could live in. I could live in this cave. Some of them would be winter retreats. That would limit the amount of people because you want a lot more rock around you. Like in India, when I lived in India, some of the caves that I found were just caves that were a couple of rocks stacked up, and then you were kind of like a worm in a hole. It wasn't a comfortable place. But the caves here are the nicest caves I've seen in my entire life. And they're done by sandstone. They literally rot on the inside. Like there's a bacteria that breaks down. It can't work in sunlight. So in the darkness, the cave just flakes. So a cave can start like this, and it just starts to get a little wind, little moisture, a little hot and cold, because like cold freezes the water that's in the air, and then the rock starts to deteriorate, and then when it warms up, it collapses. So it starts to collapse literally to where it's like a nice rounded cave. So these caves are the coolest caves I've ever found in my life, and they're right there outside of San Diego.
Beautiful. Yeah, I have a video here that I can show you about his. It's actually on Yogi Zen's channel, and I would like to. I play a few minutes of it. That way, everybody kind of gets the idea of what these.
Yeah, we want them to know where we're coming from rather than some guy that's sitting in the cave. Let me show you the real deal. Let's play that.
Okay. So yeah, this is the Jewel Valley Cave Sanctuary.
This is the top of the mountain, and right up in there are these caves in between the rocks here. I call them air caves, and there's 3 of them up there where you can stay, and those are the first caves I'm going to start building. And right behind me is some more amazing playful rocks, and my cave is right behind here, and then there's another beautiful cave right here. So there's lots of amazing places on this piece of land, and I plan to get it to run a dark room cave retreat center where people come to heal, detox, cleanse their body, get back into silence, get back into the magic of who they are, and let nature do the healing. And it is powerful, because when you come out here, it's so quiet, and so healing, that the old ancient granite here starts to heal your bones, your heart, your immune system, and everything else. So this is the place that I want to create for my yoga cave retreat center. Hopefully you can be a part, and the magic will happen. Aloha. Now I want to tell you about this rock that I discovered here on this land. This is,
Oh my God.
was actually levitated here, or brought here. I want you to actually see where the location of this amazing horseshoe is. It's in a location where all these rocks are very like decomposed and in kind of like defying gravity in some ways, very unusual. And then I find this one rock, and there's even some carvings in here. You can.
Yeah, you wanted to say something about this rock, Yogi Zen?
Do I want to say something?
Yes.
That rock is like, it's like out of nowhere. It's like out of all the rocks in that area, why would it be placed there? Why does it look like that shape? And why is the rising sun is pointed in that direction? And it's at the edge of a cliff, meaning another like 1 foot, that rock would not be on that plateau. It's like a playa. It's a flat area. It's like the only flat area in that entire hill or the top of the mountain. So it would be the ideal place for them to leave a rock that they would have placed purposely. So that's 20 tons of rock or more placed there. Who did that? When was it done? It was done by some high-level beings who understood nature. See, I realized that we are disconnected from our true nature, and we don't realize that we can do high-level things like levitation, like the yogis that can do it in the mountains, or biolocate, or read each other in our minds intellectually from a higher fourth dimension, which is our pineal gland. So in this world and society, it's all about shutting down the pineal gland. If they can keep people on dairy, enjoying cheese and milk and things, I tell you, even myself, my third eye shuts down and I become human. You want to become celestial and higher, you literally have to change your diet to literally a highly refined one that doesn't cause the body to shut down and be in high immune response or inflammation. And that's what the whole diet of America, if you look at all the foods, it's all pretty much all causes inflammation. And we don't need to talk so much about that right now.
Yeah. Thank you. So
You can see the carvings coming up right in here. Somebody's been doing some marking. It did say something. probably private property or something stupid like that. But if you look at that. You can see that it was not like part of the rock itself. It's actually a different type of rock. And you could actually even slide a piece of paper under there or something. I mean, come on. Look at that. And then here's the other side. Look at that. Does that look like it was a part of the playa here? The earth? This was placed here at some long ago date by some high-level masters, and that's why there are caves in all these rocks where they had lived at one time and explored a deep relationship with meditation and self-realization and realize, okay, I'm going to do the best that I can to film this cave. This is just a small opening that's about 2 feet high all the way around from side to side that needs to be filled in with straw. And then here's the ceiling. So there's plenty of room to sit in here for long periods of time and have plenty of room to stretch out. And then we'll put a door right at the front right here. And then this area right here will all be filled in with straw. This is another prime place that I saw a building, a meditation cabin. Just the location of how the rocks are like on the sides of you, and then you get this great valley opening look, like the energy just pours down the mountain, and then you're caught in this like kind of like a bowl, kind of like this is where the cabin would be somewhere, and then your background is this huge mountain right behind you with some more caves up there. This site where I'm sitting faces due east. It's the Horseshoe Rock. I discovered this rock like 5 years ago and was amazed that this rock isn't even connected to the bottom base of this rock that it is sitting on. It was placed there. There's a lot of unusual, amazing caves. I mean, look at this location. This is made for meditating and focusing on. Here's the house, the barn that's available on the land, and the interesting rocks that proliferate the area, the 40 acres. And this place is like, who could even design a wonderland like this? We call these air caves. Under these massive boulders are these rocks that are so interesting, and they have so much character. This is another one of the caves that I want to build, and just build a wall to keep the center of it warm and quiet and dark. Here's another cave I just want to put a door on that would seal the front.
Beautiful. So, I mean, it definitely is about 40 acres. Is that right, Yogi Zen?
There's other acres around there, but the particular 40 is available, and it's available. Actually, I mean, I don't want to buy anything. I don't believe in owning anything. It's an illusion concept that was started like a ball rolling that can't stop. People that had their land stole, and they it just kept increasing the rents to literally where I don't believe in that. Yet, as a yogi, unless you have land, they will kick you off, arrest you, treat you like you're somehow an endangered species on the planet. So, but it is available. It is worth about 100,000, so roughly less than 3,000 an acre. And it's a smoking deal in terms of what is available and what is offered. I mean, to have a cave on your property, even one, is probably priceless. But to have that many, I need to get it. And I need to invite others to come join me in deep reflection and sanctuary. It's a sanctuary. It's going to be out of this world, but in the world. Can you dig?
Have you looked into, basically, there's these websites that you can do, they call it GoFundMe and stuff like that, where we can put it on there and people can contribute, whatever they can. and they can, depending on what they contribute, is kind of like it's going to be a dark retreat timeshare or something like that. So if you get like 200 people each, let's say, contribute $500, they can come once in a year, or once in a year for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on what they contributed. They can come in and they can sit, do the retreat with you and everything like that. So that's an idea.
That's a brilliant idea. I never thought of that. I don't believe in people giving things away because I've had so few people give me anything. That would be the idea, that if somebody could put up $100 or more, they could come for a couple days or a couple of weeks. As I don't want to reject anybody.
So I'll look into some ways to bring more awareness to this, because there are ways to GoFundMe and stuff like that to raise awareness, and depending on what people contribute, as you're saying, people can come in and have this first-hand connection to the planet with the yogi masters such as yourself, which you have spent many decades and even many past lifetimes, studying all of these stuff. Maybe you lived there in that ancient times, and it's just a memory coming back to you, and that's why you're bringing this back. So
yeah, I'm breaking the spell of the illusion of life by realizing that I woke up in this world, and I'm living in another time. And I don't even like using the English language because it doesn't express like the Hawaiian or Sanskrit, or even French. The English language it distorts the ability to actually sing, because everything that we use, everything we speak is actually a glory to God. But we end up talking to each other like we don't know what's going on. So we open our mouth a lot of times and only lies and bullshit.
Sorry, you got to let me unmute you because you got muted. As you're back. Okay, go ahead. You were saying.
This is disturbing. Let me figure this out. Sorry.
No, it's back. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay, we're back.
So yeah, you were saying that the English language is distorted, and a lot of these other languages, and I actually studied that. They were saying the English language itself was create disconnection from the mind to the heart. But the ancient Sanskrit and certain languages, when you talk them, like Spanish or certain languages, you connect from the heart and you speak from the heart, which is a big change. And I notice when I want to convey something in English, I have a hard time getting here.
Right. Let me bounce one back to you. I discovered a new language. You see, the new language that I learned was more of using the tongue like a flutterby. Instead of using it hard with every word we speak, it's relaxed. Can I just demonstrate?
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to understand the words I'm saying because we haven't been taught, but listen to how it vibrates.
It's very interesting. I have a friend, and her name is Solara, and she does light language and she channels language. And a lot of even the words that the kind of energy that you're projecting, some of it resembles to her. So I can see the connection of where it comes, and she has such a big open heart, and she uses that. So right now, I know you're in Arizona, and you have been hosting sauna retreat and a water detox retreat. Tell me more about that.
I learned, well, I used myself as an experiment. So I try different modalities, different ideas. So if I try something, I try it to its extreme to see what kind of effect you'd get. So I would go for 2, 3, and 4 hour saunas, where I'd go for a half hour and then I'd take a small break to cool down and then heat up and then cool down. And my nervous system got so clean and clear, my skin got so open, that I learned more things from doing my spiritual practices that my higher teachers would tell me, do this and you'll get this effect, or do this. And so I could be writing a book about all these detox effects. I call it to get the lead out, to basically clean the rag of who we are, basically, you know, squeeze it out and down to clarity. So where should I go with this conversation? What, tell me.
I would like to know, like, how, because you have different classes for different people. One is through the detox program, one is the retreat program. So I want to know how people can be part of this and become your student. I'm interested myself. I'm interested in those programs in the coming year, to come see you in person and, you know, go to the caves with you and see, you know, get the vibe, get the energy, and be part of this. And I'm sure other people would like to know from somebody that like you, that he taught himself through the language of consciousness, through your spirit. Your spirit taught you all of these things. And it's going to cut a lot of time, because I'm surrounded by computers and negativity and, you know, all these distractions. But you had a chance to spend majority of your life in nature, close to the caves, close to the rivers in Hawaii and everywhere. So it's going to be a shortcut for me, instead of spending 30 years, 40 years of my life trying to learn all the things you learn, to come directly learn from you. So it's going to be such a great thing that you can offer to the world and the people that are ready to learn from you.
Yeah, well, how I think about life is that what direction am I going, and what am I doing right now that's going to either affect my direction or arrive at my point of perfection, my point of where nothing matters. I'm already in the dream body, and I'm no longer stressed or distracted. I'm just being, okay? That's deep, because all of us have some modus operandus, some job or thing that is pushing us to wake up, get dressed, go out the door, and do something that either is going to pay the bills, or is going to feed us, or is going to give us pleasure. You see where I'm going? I like to think of myself like Dr. Doolittle. I do as little as possible. I am the doctor. We all are our own doctor. No, you know, no doctor's ever healed anybody. There's not one doctor that's really ever healed anybody. It's like the body heals itself. You can go, okay, you cut yourself, you put a Band-Aid on it. The doctor can't do much more than put a Band-Aid on it. The body has to heal itself. So the healthier it is, the happier we become. Over years of time, we end up getting one bacteria, one cold, one issue. Our liver gets impacted, or our colon gets impacted, and we go through all these tests as we go through life, and we end up getting older. I learned that we can end up being happy and youthified or rejuvenated all the time, because our body's healing all the time, if we kept up on our game. It's like people who work out. Most of them are working out so they can eat more and keep the weight off. I have a body like I've been working out, and I don't work out at all, because my body's clean and clear. The bones and the muscle tissue has been opened and rotated every way, every day, that I don't have the adhesions that somebody at 53 years old has. I'm 53, and what's interesting is I don't have the accumulations or the fat or any of the fat that somebody at that age would have who doesn't work out, or even if they did work out, why are they working out? See, the neurosis of needing anything in this world is what's causing the insanity for the world not to stop. It's like a caffeinated society that keeps going and going, and that's why we're going right off the motherfucking cliff. We literally, this world has very little time to actually, so I would suggest you fast and pray, and like this is the last day you have. This is the last moment you're going to have, because when the coming changes, earth changes happen, it's going to happen in an hour. You're not going to get any time to go, I got to pack, I got to plan. No, you're going to have very little time to no time when that flood comes, because this is where we could be talking about all these different things, but I'm more interested in talking about what is on our doorstep, because I was given a vision today that I would like to share with the world. And right now, pretty soon.
Yes, indeed. It's, with all the chaos and everything, there's going to be a point where Mother Earth says enough is enough. You got to wake up, and the solar rays is going to come. And David Wilcock and a lot of other people talk about these coming days in which there's going to be a catalysm in which a new Earth has to shake itself from the old past and creates a new Earth, and we're going to be part of that. So the old has to go away, and a new beginning has to coming.
Yeah, the new beginning was like, but let's look back in the times of Jesus when the dates from AD to BC to AD happened. When the major Earth shift happens, it's going to be like the new 9/11. It'll be the new 9/11. It'll be like, our kids are going to be saying, oh yeah, we won't be talking about the past. We'll be talking about the Great Flood, when everything changed and the grid went down and you were eating leaves and bugs and living under trees and trying to figure out how to keep yourself warm because now the coming ice age is coming. Meaning humans, this is it. This is the end. You've been wanting it. You've been waiting for it. You've been watching it in movies and TVs. You're going to become Aquaman. You're going to have to learn to live around water. The flood is coming, and they've been preparing us for years. They've been preparing us for years to where, you want to know the vision that I got today? This is the vision that I got today. I wasn't out for seeking anything other than to go today. I was going to go to the gym and do my 4 hours of sauna sweat. And this is what happened to me today. The Lord said, before I went in the gym, I decided to sit down and just get some sun. There's the sun. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I sit down. And you know what happened? I was taken out of my body. This is why I think that we're having our video today, is I was given a sign. Now, the sign that I was given was that the Lord is returning. The higher intelligent aliens, that we call them, are coming back. And they're going to be looking and searching for those that are clear enough to go home. But those that are not, something very detrimental to the human species is going to happen. And I believe under the crust in the earth are insects. They've been hibernating for thousands of years, and they're about to mature and awaken. And the earth is going to, here's what the vision I was given, the ice caps are going to crack and break up. And the earth is going to experience a 30 or more foot inundation of water. The water is going to start coming up and drowning all the cities that are by the oceans and flooding the earth. And when this happens, the insects that are in the ground, because everything has a timing and we don't even know it, these aliens or these supposed angels, because the angels, they have wings, right? I can read from the Bible today. I was reading from the Bible. The angels will come and they will either attack and destroy that which is not aligned and balanced, or it will find the aligned and balanced, and you will enter into a new kingdom of rapture. So the rapture is coming. And when is this rapture coming? When is it? We all want to know. The Lord is not going to give us months and weeks to prepare. I was shown that. Why am I being shown this? Why am I being shown this vision? Because you are pure of heart. I'm pure of heart. You're pure of heart than the people out there that could hear the same voice that you're hearing right now. And you're telling me this, Lord? And the Lord said, yes. So what am I supposed to communicate today to give this vision of the world of what I saw? It's that we're having a new 9/11 coming. It is a nature 9/11, and it is being perpetuated by the dark side. It is being perpetuated by the dark side because when this ice cap breaks up, they've been melting the ice from underneath for years. Now they've gotten the ice so thin, I'm talking about a dark operating system of humans that want to actually create the next move so that they can corral all the human beings into a new time, a new world. And they're orchestrating it, and they love it. They love it. They love numbers. They love numerology. They don't just do things. They actually orchestrate things and say, how can we get things to naturally do what we want them to do by doing a small little event. The small event at 9/11 that was done by the Saudis and the Israelis, connected to the Bush families and the Cheneys, and only a few people were really involved in it, but it got the effect for the entire world. So the new 9/11 that I was being shown is the 1-1 119, meaning on the 1st of January, they're going to blow with charges the ice they've been melting, and the earth will go through its 911, 1119 effect, and we will have a new era. It will literally be resetting the clock. And I'm like, reset the clock? Now this is making sense.
You mean the beginning of a new year, you mean?
Yes. The vision that I was given was that on January 1st, they're going to, within an hour, they're going to blow the ice caps, and they will break up and crack up, and we're going to have 30 foot of water inundating the entire planet. So if you haven't listened and heard those words, then hear them from me, because this might be the last chance you actually get the delivery from a messenger. Isaiah was given a message. Ezekiel was given messages. They were taken up into the clouds, and then it was written in the Bible. These might be stories, but I was relating to that energy where I'm being shown all this stuff, and I was being shown more, and I'd like to complete all that I was shown in today's cast, because it might be valuable for a few people.
Yes,
absolutely. At least for me. I'm listening.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And we already know there's a lot of information about the ice are melting, and Antarctica, there's a lot of news, and there's this huge cube that has kind of gone down. I've seen some of images, and it looks perfectly like a round square. I don't know what is under it, but all the ice around is melted. So this could be a structure from ancient times and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot of I would say wake-up calls to really go in and really dive deep into the spiritual side. And in terms of what is the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to, let's say, go see the caves or do the detox that you're doing? What is the best way that people can get in touch? Is it individually, or is it you have events that happen once every while that you put it on your Facebook page?
Well, you know what's interesting is when I got the clarity of this message from my higher teachers, I'm headed to the hills right now. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's the 31st. I'm headed to the mountains to spend time away and to pray and to disconnect and connect to what changes I feel were going to happen. So if this event doesn't happen on the 1st, like I said it was, which is literally less than 48 hours from now, something huge is going to happen. And there's another reason why I'm in support of it is I feel Dr. Louis Turi, with the link in the below of his work, he predicted the Indonesian tsunami that happened a couple of weeks ago, or last week, that inundated hundreds of thousands of people. Well, he's predicting something in New York, I believe it was, New York, happening on the 1st of January. So some event's going to happen, some event. And I'm one of his best friends, and I heard these voices in my head today telling me all this. And so if I'm in connection with him, and I told him today, and he's checking out the dates. Now, this is what I want to say to you. I wasn't a firm believer in what I was being shown. And then they told me the dates. And I'm like, the dates, why it's significant is the Illuminati or whoever loves numbers. So if we do the math, what is January 1st? It's 112019, okay? But just like 9/11 happened in 2001, okay? 2001. If you do the math there, we don't say 9/11/2001, we say 9/11. This event is going to be 1119. It's 3 ones. 3 ones is the Third World War. Nature's war against humanity, because they realized is they're going to use nature as a weapon. I've been hearing this for years on YouTube, that nature is going to be used as a weapon, and humans will be like, oh, can't do anything. Oh, FEMA camps. Better to go to a FEMA camp where there's food and shelter than to hang out here with, you might say, whatever's going down. So why we weren't given notice earlier, you know, in the Bible it says, you won't know the day or the hour when the Lord returns. Well, the Lord's going to return when you're praying when that tidal wave is coming. Now, gosh, if nothing happens, guys, the thing is, Dr. Lewis said that something's going to happen on the 1st. So, you know, I don't know, because I'm not as high right now in terms of my high connection that happened. It happened in the no zone, the no mind. I was just meditating in the sun, focused on the sun, and all of a sudden the download came. Wham, 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 for over a half hour. And I got up, packed everything, and I'm like, I got to move. So that's what happened to me today. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know this date, but I've been shown myself certain events in the future and some predictions more connected to the solar energy, in which the solar is going to give this energy, and it's going to transform not only our DNA, our cellular structure, and it's going to be around 2023. So about 5 years, the 5-year cycle that we are entering after 2019. So I know there, and once those things happen, yes, the tidal waves and everything are part of it. And I know
something is coming.
Yes.
We all know that. We
Yes.
just don't know the dates or time. The thing is, they love numerology. They do things on the specific dates. So check this out. If you were a bad guy and you had all the money and you were able to redesign the way the world is, and you said, oh, it's obvious that the earth is going to go through changes. Why don't we make the changes on the days that we want? And how much is it going to cost to melt the ice caps and blow them? Oh, we can afford that. Let's do it. That's, if I was an evil guy and I got the kind of money to throw in, why not? Why not set it on the exact time that you want to, and then everybody's going to accept the chip? I mean, you're not going to say, oh, I don't want to get fed. You're going to say, okay, I'll take the chip, and then all of a sudden, they're already doing it in Sweden. I learned this, that they're actually doing it in Sweden. They're doing all these things, and check this out. What is the greatest grossing movie right now? Right now, with greatest grossing movie, do you know?
No, I don't.
Okay, Aquaman.
Okay.
Why are they telling us about a war underwater? Why? Why do they program us with television? Why do they tell us all the things before they even happen? They've been preparing for us to get eaten by insects and zombies for years. Why are they showing us these movies? Because when it eventually happens, we'll be like, I saw it in the movies. Oh, this is like a movie. This is one big fucking Hollywood set, and we're the suckers because we're sitting there watching and texting, not aware to look up and go, wow, they're killing us. And it's in the stars. Literally, the stars are part of our destiny, our legacy, that these beings, this is one great experiment. And these are just my philosophy. But, you know, after the first and nothing happens, I won't be you won't not like me. I believe you'll at least go, okay, something's going on, and this is the message that I was given. If I'm wrong, I tell you, it'll be another day, great day to be alive. And it'll be a great day to at least prepare yourself right now for the moment that if it does happen, you at least did one little preparation. You got off your fucking ass tomorrow and you moved to the hills or as far as you can, and you didn't take a bunch of baggage. You didn't take your couch and your comfy little chair that you need to sit in. You just took 2 bags or less, and you went somewhere and prayed that nothing's going to happen. That's my idea, that if nothing happened, at least you were off your ass, listening to Yogi Zen, said, hey, I'm going to go for a day or 2 vacation, and if nothing happens, I at least was able to hear the call and Blue Town. That's what I thought.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things is that I do believe that there are dark hands in the mix. I knew a shaman. He was in Mexico, and his name is Acta, and he said that during 2012, right at the end, the government was experimenting with proton thermonuclear power, in which they wanted to redirect and create a world catastrophe. And the Mayans, which were highly connected to the source and intelligence and everything, they knew that they're doing this plan. So they were saying that there was this proton guns that were putting through the earth, and it would create these holes through the earth. And they were directing that, they were planning to direct it at the end of December on 2012, right where the galactic alignment happened.
Yeah.
During that time, they were selling these light bulbs, the LED light bulbs, which has mercury in them. And the reason they were changing all the light bulbs in Mexico was that the mercury is the absorber of these proton weapons. So when they send it to Earth, those mercury will attract these energy waves, and it would actually destroy part of Mexico. So the Mayans started building these pyramids. And Acta was instructed on how to build these pyramids. He went around all over Mexico. He put these pyramid that underneath was water, and through putting these pyramids, he deflected those radiation that were sending to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. There is dark hands that are wanted to destroy the planet, the people, their hopes and everything. But I do believe that there is a light hand, which is the hand of the Creator, the Lord, which is there and is going to give us a helping hand. And through not only us, me and you, but other people, ET intelligence, other beings, Mayans, and they look after the planet to make sure it doesn't go to chaos.
Right.
And we are part of this. We are part of this game of war. We are in the middle of this war zone between the good and the evil, basically.
Yeah. Well, we're going through this porthole for sure. And, well, you know, you asked if what would be doing if I was to attract the students that wanted to come learn. Is that right?
Yeah.
That was the question. If we get through this January 1st event that doesn't happen, I would like people to come out to where I'm at and live in sanctuary. Live like this is the last day. And you know what? We're not going to be unhappy. We're not going to be frustrated or like, we're going to be content. We're actually going to be so content that we're going to be partying, dancing, laughing, chanting as if the Lord's returning, and we're going to be swallowed up, raptured. Like, the thing is, when these insects or beings that I feel that are living in the earth, and then they come up and they you might say raptured human beings, it'll be the last rapture they ever have, because when you get eaten, it's not like you can tell people about it. It's not like you can text people that I've just died and there's a huge amount of insects that are going to destroy the planet. No, they actually came and the rapture happened. For those that are pure, I'll tell you, the angels that are coming, these aliens that are coming, they're going to be nice to those that are clean and pure and wear the cloth, you might say, that are invisible. You see, you ever seen some of these dark movies and the insects are looking for and people are living in fear? Well, those that are clear, they'll know, they'll hear, they'll know. There'll be a higher communication to those insect beings, and you'll be like, I'm your frequency, you're my frequency, and they'll pass over you. But those that are full of themselves, those that are toxic, those that have been eating and are so obese, they're like easy targets. They'll be like dumb targets. They're like basically cows and going to slaughter. They won't know the call. They won't know that it's time to run. And they'll just be sitting there watching and stuffing their face with whatever. And it's like, oh, it's an angel. And gobble, 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 gobble. You're the frickin' turkey. Now, isn't that a very strange but interesting story? Because that's part of the story that I saw. Maybe the beings don't come out of the earth. Maybe they do. But it makes sense to me, because I'll tell you one thing. There's an insect this small, and it stays in the ground for 17 years. It's called a cicada. You know that?
I didn't know that.
Okay. There's an insect. It gets birthed on top of the earth, and then it goes in the ground and lives as a grub, lives like a worm for 17 years. And then on the 17th or so year, all of a sudden it crawls out, gets wings, and then it mates, and then it dies. Now, if a bug this small can live 17 years, what if I took a bug that was maybe 100 times bigger, okay, the size of, let's say the size of a car, okay? It could last in the earth, let's say 3,000-4,000 years, and maybe they never told us that, you know, there was. So I feel that these beings are going to come back, and the rapture is going to happen. You'll be like, oh, the angels have returned. Well, the angel turned out to eat you, but not those that are pure, and they're called, and they're the 144,000. Sounds like an interesting story. Makes sense to me. Maybe not to you, but to me, I see something badass coming, and you ain't going to like it. So it's for those that are living in sin that are not going to be living in the new world, because there's going to be a new world. There's going to be a cleansing, and it's happening right now. People can feel the curse. People can, I think, feel that something's going on. Not sure what it's going to do, but at least this hamburger tastes good, and this Coca-Cola tastes good, and allows me to have so much acid in my body that I don't feel or think the higher intelligent possibilities, because this has to be open. The brain has the third eye, and I can breathe out of the top of my head. And I want to show you that breath here in a minute, how I breathe through the top of my head. It's called brain breathing. Okay, how I do the brain breathing, listen very carefully. It's all through sound. I'm actually pulling energy from the top of my head and my ears as I breathe in. And I'm breathing in through the nose, not the mouth. The mouth shouldn't be used for breathing. It's not really, you know, the reason why we breathe, period, is actually to move energy out of our body. It's like a hydraulic pump. So when your body is clean and clear, you don't need to oscillate and vacillate. You can be aligned in the spirit and live in the bones of truth. That way I can meditate, and I only begin to meditate when I stop breathing. I can meditate over an hour without breathing at all. It's literally like the subtle wave or just movement of energy, and I just go into a higher blissful dimension, meaning I get higher and clearer the less I breathe, the less oxygen, because when you start a fire, you can't start a fire in a vacuum. As soon as you add air, you get the element of fire. Without air, meaning the less air we put in our body, the less food, the less everything, then we don't have to process it and put it out in the toilet. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I just gave the highest quality of life there. If we could actually live on air as aeritarians and breathe through the top of our head, like I'm going to show you now, we can become solarians and start living on sunlight and no longer the terrestrial need to eat 3 times a day and constantly distract ourselves with snacks and this and that, like we're just some little child, because that's when we happen. When we were crying, baby, put something in the mouth, shut the kid up. Crying, here's some candy. Crying, here's a bottle. And eventually we were the ones that were administering the bottle and the candy, no longer our parents. So we got trained from early in life not to breathe. And I'm going to show you how to brain breathe. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. How I breathe through the brain, I exhale everything. I keep the inner digestive channel open. And I inhale through the... So what I'm doing is I'm tightening up my throat. I'm breathing through my nose, back into here, and I can actually feel my ears and the top of my head pulling in like a vacuum. And if you want to feel the pressure properly without having much experience, what you do is you exhale, you close your mouth and your nose like this, and you suck in, like, you know, when you're on an airplane, you're trying to pop your ears. If you've never popped your ears, you're just trying to suck in air with this apparatus closed. Because when the apparatus of the nostrils and the mouth is closed, your natural tendency was to feel the pressure coming down from your ears and the top of your head. So what I'm saying is you have apertures in your body that you no longer really reflect on because you got one big hole in your face, your mouth, and you're just always keeping it open, so you don't realize that we're one pressurized unit. Meaning I can take a breath, watch me, and I fill, close the mouth and the nose, and I blow myself up like a balloon. And if I hold that breath for a long period, we're talking for over a minute, 2-3 minutes, I feel the pressure of all my apertures opening up, and I become one big lung, one big breath. and I can hold that breath for way longer than anybody because I don't have the adhesions, tension, and well, look at my ribs. The ribs have to move individually, meaning every time you breathe, the ribs should move a little bit like this. I'm going to show you right now how I can breathe deeper than most people, and you want to get your body open so you become one big channel for like a lung. Here's how my ribs move.
Wow.
So this is deep pranic yogic breathing. I've never, ever, ever, ever in my life seen anybody take a breath like that. And hold it. I don't know why. Maybe I've never been educated and no one's ever shown me, but this makes sense. We're just one big hydraulic pump, and then when we got the alignment of the pump, then the pressure can come out the top of our head, and that's what I feel like we should become, is literally our pressure and our blood and energy is going up to the crown of the head through the spine, and it's being lifted, and we become one with nature. Literally, it comes, sprouts out of the top of our head and moves along our whole body, like this out of the head, and like a torus. Meaning all of us have a torus, but we're not getting the toric field from the breath pressure. Meaning the breath pressure is allowing the torus field to come animated and enlarged and connected. Most of us are just full of ourselves and we're distracted, so we're just living zombified humans, meaning everybody is not living at their potential. 1/10 of maybe 90% of their potential isn't even there. They're operating at less than 10%. So I believe a lot of things that we're going to cover over other videos of, you might say, Zen philosophies that seem to me to be right. And if I live it, then the higher intelligent teachers tell me the next thing and the next thing. Meaning I'm no longer looking at a book or using my mind to run away from the truth. I sit in the truth long enough, and then the teachings come. And I believe everybody has this ability. True?
Yes, yes. Yeah, so looking after, 1/1/2019, either it's going to happen or there's going to be some light hands stopping that catalysm to happen. So there might be some savior or something interfering with that, but I know it's coming eventually. So let's say if that happens, then we're all going to it's going to be a forced new world because we have to rethink everything, and it's going to be a new catalysm. But let's say there was some light hands in which they prevent that from happening, and there's going to be new hope for us to come in to this sanctuary, to this retreat center that you're going to have to learn the new ways. So and I'm looking for that to be able to, after the new year, once things settle down, and the 2018 was a tough year, even for me. The amount of pressure I felt on all levels, spiritual, physical, emotional, financial, all levels. They hit me all levels. It was the toughest year, 2018. And I don't know, for you, how was 2018?
One of the better years of my entire life.
One of the better years.
I spent, my nickname is Dr. Doolittle. I wake up and I have no plans, no schedule, nothing to do. That's the first element of stress, is when you have something that you have to do that you're not comfortable right now being a zero. I was told one time that, what you really want to do is have Satan become your best friend. Meaning you want your Satan not as a part of inside you, you want your Satan by your side. So you can see him and he can see you. Meaning your dark side, you're always carrying it. And I believe that we came into this world with a dark and a light side. So we have tendencies to be good, but there's that one part in us that keeps us always smoking the cigarette, maybe sneaking a little alcohol on the side, something that just kicks our ass so we're not like ringing like a bell. So I spent this year getting off my, let's say, even smoking pot. As soon as you do it, you cause your lungs to atrophy, your whole central nervous system, and you get high. Well, what is that high? I discovered the high is actually death. It's actually a high acidic tissues. Your body gets, and your eyes get red. And basically, it's not doing any good for my body at all, nor is even drinking the wrong water or being in environments that disturb my mind. So after I was in Hawaii for the last couple of years, I spent 24 years living there. I came to the mainland. You know, I went right back to the caves, hung out at the caves for a while, got realigned to my great spirit. Then I went to a hot spring for a couple months and lived at a hot spring doing detox and cleansing. And so this year was probably one of the best years for me because I believe the Lord has chosen me to help prepare people for the next age that we're entering into. Not that I have a long beard and I'm really big and large like a guru and that you should, and I have a huge following. I have a small following, but those that really listen to me, they get such great benefit that they call me their guru. They call me the G-U-R-U, living in you is living in me, meaning if it resonates with you, then I'm your guru. If it doesn't, then I'm just your friend and buddy, and Satan's walking by your side. The thing is, most of us let Satan live inside our body. We drink alcohol, we eat meat and everything like this, and because this world wants you to do these things. It literally, like when I'm sometimes meditating, all of a sudden I get a hunger, and it's like, go eat. I'm like, I don't really want to eat, but go eat. I go, okay, I'll go eat. And then the Lord says to me, eat some meat. I'm like, well, I'm not really into eating some meat. Eat some meat because unless you dumb yourself down and become like these other people, you got to get away from these people. So what I'm saying is that when you're in an environment like a city, if you're not eating the city foods and the caffeine and stuff, why are you there? You're there to do your work, whatever work that is, or get out. So when I'm out in nature, my cravings are less to nothing. When I'm in the world, it's like, gosh, I need a distraction. Not that I watch TV ever, but unless you have some distractions, you're living in hell. You're living in noise. You're living in basically an insane asylum that is accepted as called a citified citizen life of civilization, when in fact, this is the craziest time we've ever lived in. If you look at the red man, the Indians, the natives, they're living in huts. They're living in houses that are not even houses. They're just things that are, they didn't destroy nature to have it. Look around your house now. You have all this stuff. Where did it come from? Plastics from here, this China. You go right down the list. We literally live in a tomb of nature. Everything came from nature. Now nature's stripped. The trees are dying. The seas are dead. Okay, I'll go right down the list. If you already know the list, I won't have to say it. The point of where I'm trying to get is we've literally created so much comfort around ourselves while we destroy the earth, and they haven't told us, because this religion is about consumption and about me. It's a me generation, and now we're going to get our ass kicked because we weren't paying attention and we weren't shown, because the powers that be, they don't want you to know anything. They don't want you to know that you have a higher intelligence to hear the voice of God. They don't want you to fast and pray, because not one doctor on this planet that goes through any institution, a university or a PhD, and has a doctorate or whatever, will tell you, oh, you want to get better? What's causing you to be sick? Then stop doing the things that are causing you to be sick and start doing nothing, and the body will heal itself. No doctor has ever said that. But you know what? Anyone who has any problem in their body, whatever disease, whatever thing is causing them to be ill, or cancer, and they say you have this much time to live, if you stop eating for 2 and 3 days, 3 days is the magic number, 50% of everything that is going on in your body is reduced to 50%, meaning your body can start to heal. For example, when you're really sick, you go to the hospital, right? Well, I saw what they give you in the hospital. They're giving you sugar in the morning with wheat and dairy and some caffeine. And then lunchtime is probably mashed potatoes that are fake, meaning the hospital is killing you more than just living in your own home, making food for yourself. So they don't know jack shit, and they're feeding you shit that's putting you into, meaning when I was in the hospital, I'm like, what are my choices? Oh, you're a vegetarian? Okay, we're going to give you canned fruit, and we're going to give you cornflakes and milk. And you want some coffee? I'm like, I got to get away from everything that your institution is predicating. So this whole world, which you see hospitals all over America, and basically this is an insane asylum filled with people who don't understand the body can heal itself and be happy and blissful without all the acidic foods that this generation is living on. So if you look back 40 years ago or 100 years ago, what they were eating, and I can attest to this, when I lived in Nepal, check this out, when I lived in Nepal, most of their diet is not rice, it was corn, okay? So they would grow corn, and it was non-GMO, and they would eat this every single day, and they grew it. So most people were so poor, they had to grow their own food and then supplement their life with maybe one of the people works, and so brought home a little this and that. But it's so mono diet. So if you're just eating corn, or if you're just eating maybe some meat, if you keep it mono diet, you'll be far healthier than the consumption of eating something that has over 300 ingredients in it. Yeah, the average meal today, if you were to go out to eat, has probably over 300 ingredients, meaning all these small little chemicals that they put in one food and this food and this food. You do the math, all of a sudden you become this big chemistry experiment, and you wonder why you're sick. You wonder why you sleep 8 hours a day. You wonder why you don't have the energy you did when you were 20 years old. And now, so basically they've been putting us into the grave, and they keep doing it. And there are people like you and me who understand these things, because intelligently we realize that when you stop eating, your body becomes more clear, and you can make clearer decisions because your body has an innate says, do this, do that, don't do this. But when you're toxic, your body goes, I need some more coffee today because I need some more sugar because the parasites, yeast, molds, funguses, tapeworms, worms, and beings that live inside us are causing us to say, have some sugar, eat some this, eat some of that. And check this out. This is how we believe life is, that we need to eat, sleep, right? Meaning I'm about taking all those ideas down to nothing and going into a cave and resonating at the frequency that I am, rather than the world telling me or pushing me or tempting me and you into, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I need a cozy house, I need to turn on the heat because it's getting cold. So all those needs, the yogi doesn't need anything. You see, when I lived in the cold weather, I was so clean and clear and not eating that it could be 0 degrees outside and I'd be naked, okay? Now, even 30 degrees, I would be naked. Now, I wouldn't sit out there for an hour or something naked, but the point is, when I take all my clothes off and walk around for 10, 20 minutes, I wasn't cold. I mean, I'd feel this pressure, but see, as soon as I ate some sugar, check this out, as soon as I ate some sugar or ate some dairy, as soon as I did it, within a minute, guaranteed, I was putting on a jacket, I was putting on some shoes every single time. So it told me the body's so intelligent that if it's clean and pure, it can be in the Himalayas, like my guru was, without any firewood. It was cold, but the cave was warm enough to where he didn't die, because it's all tumo. It's all inner fire, inner fire. As soon as you put in inner fire of food, then the inner fire goes down and the real fire, inflammation, begins. This is deep stuff. If you repeat, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I am familiar with that. I've been reducing my consumption of food. It's going down since 20 years ago. I only have 1 meal a day max. I try to some days fast and everything, and it really, the amount of clarity I have in my mind, especially with clean water, with other therapies that you recommended, with all of those, it really helps. And you have inspired me in many ways to really look into myself, and I really appreciate every information you put out there, which has been really helpful, not only for me but for a lot of other people that resonate with that.
Well, we all have a cross to bear. This life we came here to experience something, and this is why it gets so deep, brother, is because unless we start to really discover ourselves and our talents, and we won't discover our talents and potentials unless we break free from the societal restraints, meaning a societal restraint. As soon as you got to put on clothes and act differently than just being natural like a child, then we change. What I mean by that is when I've lived in warm climates where you don't need to wear clothes and I'm free and I'm hanging out at the beach, and as soon as I put on clothes, something puts on a mask, meaning I'm defining my relationship with nature. I'm separating myself from nature. I'm defining myself as I want to be disconnected from, well, if I'm naked and my skin is connected to the ambient air of the earth, the air around me, then I'm connected to all the intelligence. Now, where am I going with this? I could tell you in Hawaii 5 to 10 minutes before it was going to rain or the wind was going to come, because I was so connected to the air, connected to the trees and air that was 10 minutes away, that I could tell you it's raining. And people would be like, it might rain. I go, no, it's going to rain. I could feel the pressure coming. As soon as I put on clothes, it was like the Indians cutting their hair. It was like the Indians cutting their hair and being super intelligent enough to read what's behind the next hill when they had hair. And as soon as they cut it and went off to war, their intelligence was cut. So where am I going with this? Never, ever, ever cut your hair. Let it grow. You wouldn't cut your finger off because it's growing. Why do you cut your hair off? Well, why do we do that? It's all motivated by societal restraints. Because when they want you to go to work or war, cut your hair. Cut your hair, go to war. Cut your hair, go to work. I didn't know any rock and roll bands where they had really short hair. All of them had long hair, because when you cut a musician's hair, you're no longer a musician. You can't hear the words. Jesus, he could have been thought of as a hippie. He had long hair. Why are the Christians all about? I mean, if they're real Christians, they would be a cult where they'd all have long hair. So I don't believe in anything that we've been shared or shown or this and that until it resonates with why I'm doing it. Why am I putting on shoes if I don't need to wear shoes? Oh, why am I putting on? Because this world is tainted with death. It literally is death before and after. Everything. What color is the road that you drive on? Black. This is a black operation. It just resonates with death. Everything on television. How many shows are about cops and guns? You know, it's just sad, brother. It's just sad the direction that this humanity went. And there's people like you and me, which are, I'll tell you, you're an endangered species. You're an endangered species. If you're listening to this, we want to be eliminated from this project or this experiment of destruction, because we're actually the ones that are like, help me. Is there something or somewhere I can go, which is sanctuary? And that goes right back to why we even connecting to talk about this. Is we need a sanctuary. And my cave sanctuary, if we had the money, I would open it up and invite people who want to escape this madness and come back into balance with somebody who doesn't have a long beard and who isn't old and fat and tells you the same thing I'm going to tell you right now. And that is, you are the living truth. And I want to meet you and know you. And if you have a dough to go and build this, great. Otherwise, I'm going to keep living in my van, living on the land like I have been, not houseless or homeless, because I have a vandominium. It's a van with wheels that I stay in if I need to. But this is the way that I'm able to, you might say, stay above all the crap and shit, is because when you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to work as hard to pay the man who's stealing from you and is the Lord over your land. That's the landlord. True?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's having said that, you said it very beautifully. Whenever I do meditation, there's a big difference when I have my clothes on or take my clothes off. It's completely different experience.
Completely different.
And even if I sleep on the ground, close to the ground, completely different experience than sleeping on my bed. When I started sleeping on the ground because I wanted to get away from 5G, all these Wi-Fi stuff. When I sleep on the ground, I sleep like a baby and I wake up refreshed. When I sleep on my bed, all these waves hit and I literally feel my body's warming up from all these satellites, from all these 5G, from Wi-Fi, cell towers, all of it. My body's burning up and I feel heat on my chest. But as soon as go sleep on the mother, which is the ground, I feel fully healed. And I
Yeah.
bet when you're
Think,
surrounded by rocks in the cave, that's just amazing.
think about it. The earth, because it's a colder and it's denser, and our body harbors and collects heat and inflammation, that as soon as you lay on the earth or put your feet on the earth, the body is able to release those positive ions that we collect. If you stay in a bed, they go nowhere and they kind of sit and you might say continue to heat up. That's why when I lay in bed, I always feel worse when I wake up. But sometimes it's even harder for the comfort body to lay on the earth and just be comfortable with that. But I'll tell you, for over 20 years when I was living and just traveling like a yogi, living in Mount Shasta or Oregon or all over Hawaii, I only, I would never have mattresses or foam things. I'd have like a blanket that I throw on the ground. And sometimes I'd wake up and one hip might hurt because you're laying on the ground and stuff. But what's interesting is the bones love it. The body loves the healing of the earth like that. And one time when I lived in the ashram at the monastery, they only gave you wooden pillows. And it was a cement slab that you laid on. Okay, that was the hard pillow was so that you wouldn't have the comfort. But I realized something, that after I did that, because it was like training, I was training with about 25 years old, that living without comfort is Buddhic, meaning you become more like a Buddha when you sacrifice your needs and comforts. You realize, I'm not this body. The body wants comfort. The body wants attention. It wants love and vanity. And it basically, we like to stroke it and comb it and prep it, when in fact, that's the illusionary body. We're protecting the body that is not real. And the Bible says that even so, a man will try to save his life, but will lose it. But those who live and lose their life for my sake shall find it. And that everlasting, or that evermore or something, where I'm going with that is that when you stop trying to adore yourself, this illusionary body, the real body will come and merge with the false body. Okay, where I'm going with this is the right half for me is my false body, the left half is my female, and the real body. The male body is a male-dominated world, so we're always predicating ourselves on dominating, on not so loving, on being selfish, like this. But when my body fused itself under deep practices, I mean literally fused itself, the tension where the right side, the tension was relaxed, the left side started to receive more blood and more energy. That literally was a body mechanical system, not a philosophy or way I got there. I literally got so much tension out of my body that more blood flow started to flow, and I felt the swelling. And then I realized this is the tight, this side isn't getting any energy while this side is active. That all of a sudden this happened, and then I became a full being. And this only happened this year. I became a full being, meaning I'm still discovering truths and possibilities of myself that I never knew were possible, when I spent days and days at the hot spring getting that warm water and all the tensions and unwind out of my body, that someplace in my spine got unwound to where the flow started to happen, and my left side became one with my right side, and I became highly intelligent. I became at that point like literally a whole being. And that just happened a couple of weeks, or about 2 months ago. I'm sharing that with you because I feel it's really important to understand that every person listening to this has not probably experienced what I just said. They think they do this and that, or they've had their 40-day fast. I've talked to some people, and they've never had experiences that I've had, because I'm here to give a perspective to those that think they're on the path, that there's more of the path when you literally go out and get away from everybody and go on that vision quest. So I'm all about going vision quest, and that's why we're doing the Caves Retreat Center, is to create a place for questing the vision. For the quest shall the quester or the questioner shall find their vision and be clear with the version of themselves that they've been hiding. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm looking forward, hopefully after 2019, if those cataclysm and those events didn't come to pass, or somehow get modified to, so we can pass through this, to come and visit you and see the caves. And I have some ideas how we can maybe raise the capital for that through GoFundMe or bringing people together, so everybody kind of gives and they become part of that group that can come in and visit it. So I'll connect with you after the new year to see how we can manifest that plan
Right.
and make it
Well,
happen.
one of the messages that came through was the potency of getting oneself where they need to be, and spending time in prayer and in reflection for the new year. So something is going to happen on the 1st, whether it's the flood or if it's just the thing that they want to pass on to us, which is creating more fear. Okay, something is going to happen, and I just want to say, be ready. Just like right now, I want to spend some more time reflecting on myself, and I would love to do another one of these videos with you, maybe in when you're ready,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I feel that there's things we didn't even cover about urine therapy.
Yes.
And the soul essence. I wanted to share about that. Maybe we can talk about that in the next one, about
Yes.
how urine therapy, if you're not doing it, you're not stepping on the spiritual potential path. Because I thought I was spiritual, and then I started drinking my urine and putting on the skin. As soon as I started doing that, it changed my whole biomagnetic signature, okay? Meaning you can wash your body with water, you can drink water, but if you start drinking your urine, your actual elixir water that you urinate a few times a day, and putting on your skin, like my skin, my hair, look at my skin, my hair. This is not hair of somebody at my age, at 53.
Yes.
You put it on your hair, you put it on your skin, and it keeps a youthifying effect. And that's some of the things I want to talk about in the next video. Is that's why actually we were actually getting together on this conversation, wasn't it? About urine too.
Yes, that's yeah, definitely. It is something actually, that was one of your first videos about 3 or 4 years ago that I watched. Then I went read bunch of books from different doctors, even Prime Minister of India talks about it. And I went to scriptures in ancient India, which Lord Shiva talks about it. And there's a specific procedure about that. And even I read in the books, and I even like passed that book to some people that had cancer, they were in critical conditions, say, look, read this. There's been so many healings happening as a result of practicing this ancient tradition. And even a drop of like, it's like a serum. You look at your vaccines that they're chemicals, but your body produces its own vaccine. Even a drop of your own urine has all the signatures of what is going on with your body. When you put even a drop under your tongue, your body can see what is happening and readjust your hormones, everything. So that's a whole new video, because it's such a important subject that this one was just about retreats. We're gonna, in the future videos, we definitely cover that aspect of urine therapy. And also you talked about celestial
Soul essence.
soul essence. Yes, so there's more stuff that we're going to cover, definitely. And I'll put Yogi Zen's contact information here, and hopefully we'll plan for some fundraising for the caves, because I think that's very important. It's been coming to me since last year that you got to do this, so there's a reason for everything. So, and after that, Yogi Zen is going to play us a beautiful music with his beautiful instruments. So I'm just going to quickly share this. So this is Yogi Zen's Facebook contact. He's my friend on Facebook, and you can add him by going to this page as a friend. That way you are in tune with all the updates that he has. This is his phone number in case you want to set up a time for personal sessions or anything in depending on his schedule and your schedule. And there's 2 YouTube channels. One is called Yogi Zen, all lowercase, which has older videos since last year, and there's another one, Yogi Zen with capital Y and Zen, and subscribe to both of them, and he has a lot of good information there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Next video, I'll introduce myself as Yogi Zen, but my other alias is Dr. PP. You're in good health. So
Okay.
Dr. PP, you're in good health, will tell you, will give you orders from headquarters of why you want to use your urine as an elixir. And it literally is the step on the spiritual path. Why? Because I have talked to other people that are very highly elevated in detox and health, and they're not using their urine. I can tell that they're not, and that it would accelerate their potential for healing, because check this, not only does it have hormones in it, it has natural, actually bacteria, which help to re-put natural bacteria in your body that is balanced and pH correctly for yourself, meaning you don't need probiotics, you just need your own urine, and aged urine brings that to its effect. Now, the urine, when I looked at years ago, there were very few videos about urine therapy, uropathy. I've just checked today for the first time that now there's this resurgence, huge resurgence on YouTube for urine just in the last year, meaning some people are really getting hip to it, and they're getting hip. They're the common people saying, hey, this is really working. I'm going to start teaching and telling people about urine. So right now there's an actual snowball effect where I was one of the first people on the YouTube speaking about urine, and only after reading 8 books in India about how urine is such an elixir, and Shiva Ambu, Shiva wrote the first testament of why urine is supposed to be used. So we'll go into that in depth on the next video. In depth, you'll be a urine expert next time with our next video.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that, dear Yogi Zen. It's a great honor to have you and learn from all the wisdom and all the knowledge that you bring from many lifetimes into this lifetime to really get us back in tune with our nature and our music, which is you're playing right now. So,
yep. Let me give you a quick concert, okay?
Okay.
Let's see. First, this is called a dulcimer. It's made in America, and it was invented here, but I have changed it to make it sound like a drone. So here's the first, this is the bass string. And these are resonating strings. Here we go.
Thank you. That was beautiful, and I'm looking forward to listening to it in person because there are limitations through this digital world to absorb all the beauty of
Yeah.
of you know.
Yeah. No, for real. This is so celestial that hitting one note should set you into a vibratory alignment. And I discovered that some of the greatest ways to heal the body is not through medicine, but is through vibrational medicine. So correct pitch, tone, tonality, and vibration can actually set our body straight. And I've been working with sound and some really intense instrumentation that I'm healed, or if I'm not healed, I realize where the blockages are because everything else feels great, and then I feel the tension due to the vibrations coming in my body for, say, 10, 20, and 30 minutes of the frequency of the bowl, the singing bowl, the sitar, the glass crystal bowls, or this instrument. So I feel, if I can give out a directive message, that if you really want to understand and be on the spiritual path and you're not playing an instrument, you're not playing an instrument. And without an instrument, without tying your shoes, they don't stay on. For you to stay on your game, you should and must play an instrument, whether it be a flute, whatever. Grab something, make a sound, because the world is making sounds and it's causing you, just like Wi-Fi, it's going into your body and affecting you. If you don't have something around you that creates perfect reflection and affection to your own auric field, then you'll be overcome by the world, no matter how intelligent, smart, and capable you are to radiate because, oh, I got the sacred mantra, or the Guadalupe, the Mother, Divine Mother is protecting me. Yes, let the Divine Mother protect you, but sing to the Divine Mother and she'll come closer to you. That's all I can really say at this moment.
Well, thank you very much, Yogi Zen, for honoring us with all the wisdom, and we'll do more of these episodes in the coming new year. And I'll pause this, and there's some
Thank
more
you.
information with I'm going to share. But yeah, thank you for being here.
The last bit of information, because I talked so much, is this is what my teacher left me. This was the only teaching he left, and he didn't say any word about it. And I can reflect and say the same thing now, that when your body is so open and clear, the nerves and the tension in the back of the hand is not there. There's no tension and clinging and grasping into the world, because this is your mind. You cannot get one thing done, and tried it, done with your mind. You can't get one thing done in the world with your mind. It takes this hand to bring this to my mouth. It takes this to wipe my mouth of the shit that I've been putting in it. Meaning we can't turn on any light bulbs. We can't turn on any light bulbs in our body and mind unless we have the intelligence to reach out for it. And that's what's causing all the problems in this world for you, is by what you think that you need to get and gather and protect you. And I'm going to leave you with this. How much tension do you have in your body of clinging and grasping is right here. If you can put your hand out and just put your hand out and relax it, and you can see, how does your hand look? Does it look like this? Does it kind of grip like that? This is called the tension. So your body, even when you sleep, is always under a little amount of tension. What if that tension was completely free? Completely free. No tension here, no tension here. When this happened to me, I didn't read it in a book. When it happened to me, there was no tension in my body at all. I lived the dream that literally I was feeling energy coming out the tips of my fingers, because no longer was the energy being focused through my body to cling and grasp. And the tension when I was sleeping was always there. But when it was open and clean and clear, I could feel the pressure and energy coming out my fingertips. So I know it's a truth. I know it's a absolute fact and truth that what I just said is the only teaching that he left was this. So when you understand this, and he could, anything he wanted to appear out of his hands could appear. His fingertips, light would come out his fingertips, and he could touch and heal any human being with his clarity of perfection. And that's the way of the Christ. So this is deep stuff. Let's cover some more of this in the next video. But right now, I'm going to leave you with this.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love you, Earth family.
We
Thank
love
you.
you too.